Well, a promise is a promise. Welcome back to Behind the Scenes. A little while ago, I had a goal on Patreon that if we hit $1,000 a month, I'd bring back Behind the Scenes. Now, we have recently dropped below that threshold, but since we hit it last month, I am grandfathering it in through October. So if you're interested in more Behind the Scenes content, please consider supporting me on Patreon so I can keep this little series running on this channel. I want to give a quick shout out to YouTube user Kippy. I used their Spamton Neo battle as reference throughout this video because unfortunately I don't have the time currently to play through the game myself and get to that point. So they had a great no-hit run that I used as reference. So please, please, please click the link in the description and go check them out and subscribe to them. Alright, enough about that. Let's see what I was working on this week. So every once in a while going into a video, there's an effect that I'm not quite sure how I'm going to accomplish yet, and this was definitely one of them. It's just a simple looping background that is in the back of the video the entire battle. The way I ended up going about recreating it was creating an extended shape vertically in Photoshop that is basically, a looped version of the one shape. So I can move it up in After Effects and then eventually snap back to the bottom without it visually looking different. After that, you can see me scaling up and down the shape on different layers to create that kind of echoey warp effect. And then I put in a repeating texture of water in the background because it was pretty similar to what we were seeing in the original video. And with that, I was actually able to make a quick 4-second loop that loops throughout the rest of the video, and it looks pretty nice. So oftentimes when I'm in a real crunch for time, I need to get a video out and I'm running down the clock, I'll often save time by actually animating over top of images that I take. So what you see in here is I'm currently tracing over a reference photo I took and adding different layers so I can animate each individual layer separately in After Effects. It's a lot quicker. I don't know if it's cheating, but it saves time and I think it looks nice. And I end up doing that with all the other assets as well. You'll see the wings being made here. And ultimately that all gets layered into After Effects so I can create frame-by-frame animations to mimic the original battle. So you see the unhinging of the jaw here being keyframed in. So it ultimately looks nice. It gets the job done. One thing about these Undertale and Deltarune videos is that they're very, very overwhelming when you start making them because there are like 50 different moving parts at any time, and so I never know where's the best place to start. I just get so overwhelmed. So in this case, I really started off by animating the player icon, the heart, or the automaton in this case, because it's something that kind of everything else is affected by, so it feels proper to do that first. And then I basically start dividing it up by sections. You'll see this is what I called the blue face section, where I'm masking out in 4 different layers an explosion of these blue automaton faces. Then I can add each one individually wherever they must appear throughout the video, which in this case is just directly horizontal. But in the next section, the car section, what I was dubbing it as, they have to be inserted into these car shapes in the proper positions, and they have to explode at the proper time. So it's just very intricate work that goes by very quickly and no one notices. So it's very frustrating, but I think it's rewarding in the end because it looks nice, and I think it looks pretty accurate to the game style. Another thing with these videos is it's very much trial and error. Right now you see me manually keyframing in individual projectiles, individual missiles, to follow the exact direct path as to not hit the automaton icon. Now, it's really intricate, and it takes forever because you have to do that for every single projectile. And so a little later on in the battle, you'll see I actually got a little lazy. I cut some corners because at that time, Chris's health bar disappears, so you can't see if they take health damage anymore. So I just created a particle simulator that automatically spit these out, and ultimately, in the end, it didn't matter if the automaton got hit because you couldn't see any changes down at the bottom. So hooray for cutting corners. And it's funny to, work on these little elements. Like, no one's going to really appreciate the press spacebar animation. It just seems like it's ripped from the game. But, it was made from scratch. You'll see adding trail effects to make it kind of give that nice echo like it does in the original video, changing the frame rate to match it properly. It's a lot of work goes into a little thing like this and no one notices. But now you guys notice because you're watching the behind the scenes video. So congratulations, I've let you on a little secret I have here, which is I put way too much effort into little things in these videos. And there's really not much else interesting throughout this process. What you see here is what you get for a week and a half, which is just adding individual layers and manipulating individual items, you know. Right now I'm working on one single green string holding him up. Then I move on to the second green string. Everything has to move independently, so there's not much copying and pasting. So unfortunately it's very time consuming, very aggravating, but it makes for a nice video. And really that's about it. There's not much crazy about this video. It's just a very intricate video that takes a lot of time to line up all the intricacies and the layers. So not super exciting behind the scenes, but you know, it gives you an insight to what my life's been for the past week and a half, 2 weeks as I've worked on this. So once again, if you enjoy these behind the scenes videos, please consider supporting me on Patreon. I'd love to keep these videos going, but I cannot do it without your support. So thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will see you guys in the next behind the scenes. Peace.